I come from an industrialist family actually, but my mother, she was an artist. She was into theatre, she used to dance and also play the sitar. So when I was born, the atmosphere in my house was very conducive to learning. And I would owe it to my Guruji's family also, because I had the good fortune of Pandit Ravi Shankarji, who used to hold his Riyas camps at my house. So all the artists then, all the senior disciples used to come to teach, to learn from him. So we had about a 10-day music session by Pandit Ravi Shankarji, my Guruji Manju Mehta, Pandit Vishwamohanji, Krishna Bhatt, Shamim Ahmed, Kartik Kumar, Partho, Shubhendra Rao. They all used to live in-house to learn from Pandit Ravi Shankarji. So the atmosphere was already there, and after listening to all this, I wanted to learn sitar. I told my mother, I want to learn sitar. So then she took me to my Guruji's place, who is also a disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankarji, as I said. And that's how my journey began at the age of 16. My own Guruji, her name is Manju Behan Mehta, and I think she is my role model. Why? Because everything about her is infectious, right from her laughter to the way she teaches. When I went to her, she sounded, this is the simplest thing on earth. She never made it difficult. I think this is that value I've imbibed from her, and if I have a chance to teach others, which I do, the first thing is to not to make it sound difficult. Because when you are on to the journey, the person herself or himself knows that yes, they have to work hard to make it happen, to get the right nuances, they have to do a lot of practice. But if in the beginning we always, say that, oh, this is a very difficult profession, this requires a lot of hard work, a lot of listening, children, especially the youth, feel, oh, we do not have time in today's times. But if you make it very easy in the beginning, later on it grows on to you, and the person himself does it so well. So I think it is very important for the Guruji to play a role model, and I think she used to just laugh out if I didn't do anything right or didn't do my homework well. I didn't feel scared to visit. Otherwise, you avoid that, no, let me do my homework, otherwise she might not like it. That, oh, you haven't still done what I taught you last. So the idea is not to go ahead, but to welcome the student, give her love and say, oh, she would do it in such a way that it made me work on my own a lot. Sitar looks very, very enticing in the beginning, and it is a very attractive instrument. But as you go deep into it, you realize there are so many things you have to master. What you are saying is absolutely correct, that we need a very conducive atmosphere. Sometimes we look from it in an angle that when you travel, you get to learn a lot of things, but I personally feel it comes from within. And that moment could be in your own house. All you need is concentration and peace. If you are at peace within yourself, it doesn't matter where you are. Traveling, of course, teaches you a lot, and you become a very responsible person. As you said, you are an ambassador representing your own culture, music, and you have a big role to perform. But the spade work is always done in your own mind, in your own space, in your own house. Traveling enhances experience so as to know the different cultures, how people are listening to you, how well disciplined they are, and how much they already know when they listen to you. Music has no language. It is once you realize that you can create and craft a person, everybody is not born a musician. So workshops of this kind which you are doing, they are very, very important in grooming up and creating or crafting a musician. So what you're doing is excellent, wonderful work. You're providing with such great atmosphere that we can relax and show them for hours. People are talented. Yesterday what I saw was, we did 2 different types of cycles. One was 9 beats, which is not very usual. They are used to the teen tal or the 16 beats and the 8 beats. We tried 9 beats yesterday also, which is called matta tal in 9 beats, and then we tried with them 10 after that, which is called jap tal. And I found that in about 5 to 6 minutes their absorbing power was quite a bit. Looking at that, my first interaction with them was yesterday. I found the receptivity very, very good. It was no question of them being of which origin, whether they were French or Indian or Italian. The rhythm was there in their minds. We could connect. It was very nice. I've been into pure classical traditional music since last 35 years. About 3 to 4 years back, Guruji Pandit Vishwamohanji thought of diverting me a little bit into, I wouldn't call fusion, but it was a different perspective with, fusion of certain ragas. And I was very hesitant, as the puristic nature in which it was drilled into me, I felt I was diluting the effect. I can never do this. You sort of get into some sort of a guilt also that, oh, how can I divulge, But when I heard the compositions, I felt like doing it because I heard the youngsters, the teenagers, were all putting it down on their iPods and listening to it. So I thought it is the best way to entice the youth. Today, if you tell a youth, an architect or an engineer or whoever, sit down, you're going to listen to classical music for 1.5 hours with alap, jor, jhala, the first composition, second, and you will enrich your mind. After 5 minutes, their minds will start roaming. They will not be able to absorb. So, I have done 2 or 3 albums whereby the same thing is applied. The foundation is classical music. The ragas are there, but certain liberties are taken to make it more appealing to the youth. We have dealt with different rhythms and the ragas are packaged in 5-minute compositions, which are very easy to listen. At the same time, they give the flavor of the traditional raga, as also the theme line, the sthai, the antra, what you call the first stanza, the second stanza. So the structure and system of the classical foundation is maintained. And I've used tans and strokes from my classical background. It is the same thing, but packaged in a way which is very rhythmic, and in 5 minutes it gives you an impression of a raga. So we started doing this as a side hobby, and I didn't deter. When I play classical, I play pure classical. But at the end of the concert, if somebody wants to have some, light bites, then for 5 minutes we get them into another dream world, which is a lot of rhythm, a lot of pep into it, and at the same time they don't know they're listening to one raga. Ultimately, the youth then wants to come back to the classical niche. But this is a nice medium in which you can entice the youth to do it. And I've been, I should say, with God's grace, very successful in it, because both my albums have become bestsellers. And since last 4 years, they are being printed again and again in India. And There are many, many young people who come to me and say that we listen to it while we are driving, we listen to it while there was baby shower in the house, somebody says I used it for my anniversary, somebody said I used it for my wedding. Point is, they like it, they are absorbing it. And eventually quite a few students come to learn classical music from it. So this sort of experiments should be done, which I was sort of hesitant to start with. I do it now. It's 90% classical music, but 10% I do this work for the benefit of the youth. I think Dalal had a lot of foresight and vision and a different mindset for this institute to be like this the way it is. I heard about it through Nihar, and yes, I was already planning to come to Europe because I'm performing in the Riedberg Museum in Zurich. And the way he told me, I found this a very interesting proposition, and where I feel a workshop which is quite constructive hours. It's about 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening, which is, I would say, this much time we do not get elsewhere. Dedicated, serious workshop like this always entices me because you can see the results. In an institution where there's a regular school, you get, or even on Skype what people are doing, they get to get 45 minutes. Here you have the full day. What you have done in the morning, you can see through in the evening, and almost the students master that particular subject that you had started, which I think is a very good idea. So even a 3 or 4 day workshop like this is very focused.